Here we use a CT device, a computer tomograph. That means rather like a medical doctor, we use an X-ray source to take many X-ray images from different angles.
We aim to create scans of the devices from the interior without destroying them. If we are able to look inside, we can see things that otherwise are not accessible. The Cipher devices are either corroded and completely stuck together, or the mechanism has so many different parts that, once the device has been dismantled, it can never be accurately reassembled. Or the devices are welded, because they were designed to never be opened anyway. So we offer a glimpse into worlds that are not accessible.
We have already scanned this device on this system. And even if one has the impression from the outside that it is in a very bad condition, you can see that the internal structure is still relatively intact. It's exciting for us to be able to compare the two devices with one another using CT scans. Such things can be better analyzed from these images than by disassembling the device. Some areas of the machine and their specific functions are not visible when the machine is assembled. When it's disassembled, you hold the parts in your hand, but then they are separated and the relationship between them is not clear. This object contains relatively solid steel axles. This is simply a matter of reducing the thickness of the material through which the radiation must pass. If we now tilt the object up, this will result in a significantly better image quality. It's not a classic X-ray tube, it's a linear accelerator. Linear accelerators allow the generation of very high X-ray energies, and we use those for imaging. The high X-ray energies are capable of transmitting through more matter, which means that the beams are also able to pass through very large objects or very solid objects, for example iron. So the key is that we rotate the object during the scan. That means we have X-ray images from different perspectives on the object. Those X-ray images can be transferred into a 3D model using a CT reconstruction algorithm. By scanning the object from different angles and then transferring all this image information into a 3D model, I then have the possibility to view the object from different perspectives on the inside and on the outside. I also have the advantage that I can hide certain areas that are not interesting to me. If I now wish to focus on a very small detail inside, I can remove the cover and only look at the particular part I'm interested in. The scan is complete. We've finished the recording and I reconstructed the data. Now the CT dataset of the complete model is available. Let's take a look at the 3D view.
Cipher machines that follow the Hagelin method, like Cipher Device 41, generate pseudo-random numbers. These are not real random numbers, but machine-generated random numbers. These machines generate a pseudo-random number for each letter that is to be encrypted, and this random number defines the amount by which the printing cylinder is twisted. To create such a pseudo-random number, we have small mobile pins in the machines at each position of the rotors. These pins can be set to position 0 or 1, according to the specifications of the daily key setting. 0 means inactive, and 1 means active. For every letter that I wish to encrypt with such a machine, a single line of the rotors is scanned.
Compared to Enigma, it is a much more complicated machine, very complex.
If a pin is actively set within this line, it contributes to creating the pseudo-random number and adds a certain amount. This amount depends on the position of the rotor. whether it is on the left, which means in the first position, or in any other position in the machine. If a pin is inactive, nothing happens at this point. Fritz Menzer adopts this system that Hagelin has already successfully built, but he adds further ideas. Two of those are particularly interesting. On the one hand, the rotors of Cipher device 41 are interconnected in such a way that they influence each other, and therefore step forward in a very irregular manner after each letter encryption. Secondly, Menzer integrates a negation function into Cipher device 41. The sixth rotor is responsible for that. And this is a very special invention by Fritz Menzer. If the pin of the sixth rotor in the line being read is set to active, all active pins in this line are counted as inactive, and all inactive pins are suddenly counted as active. All zeros become ones, and all ones become zeros, also known as the negation or not operator. This has a corresponding effect on the generation of the pseudo-random number at this position. So what makes Menzer's invention so exciting? Menzer's new concept means that Cipher device 41 behaves extremely irregularly and is therefore very difficult to predict, and that makes it secure. After all, breaking into an irregular system is much more difficult than breaking into a regular machine.
Looking at the details of Cipher device 41, you can see it was way ahead of its time. At that time, no irregular wheel stepping was used. In other words, all the wheels were shifted by one after each letter, monotonously. This is much easier to decipher than an irregular pin-controlled advancement. In addition, we have the negation function caused by the sixth wheel.
For decades, Cipher device 41 was completely unknown. At the same time, it is known from archive documents that its encryption mechanism was particularly good. And it took many years to figure that out. Now the algorithm has been published. However, the mechanical implementation is still not entirely clear. For that, we need the CT scan data. Then we can create 3D models, and interested people can use the model data to build simulations or rebuild a device for themselves.